Hello everyone, and welcome back to a new episode of Prismata. Let's jump back in the queue and see if we can tank this rating any further. Live games. Yeah, see, we lost to Ghost Bomb. Ranked comparatively low. Although, you know, top 200 is pretty good. Oh look, Trump's playing. He made the top 200, well done. Good for him. Wow, this is a large game with Defense Grid and Fabricator for both players. They're both making what looks like good use of Doomed Drone, although... I gotta say, when I see 3 Doomed Walls with the same lifespan, I'm worried about that player's safety. This guy has a much more restrained outlook on things. I guess Trump was doing this so he could keep building Tarsiers, whereas this guy has been building like Grimbotches and Rhinos and Splitters. Animus? Really? It's not the blue you want to snipe? Huh. It seems late enough in the game that you're going to want a lot of defense. So there's Xenoguardian and there's Zatron, which both combine to be reasonably large defenders. And there's Thorium Dynamo to make green quite easy to come by. So I think that you're going to want Xenos and Zatron, although, like, there's also Colossus, which wants to be its own big defender. And if you have the Xeno, you're kind of close to having the tech for Colossus. And you'll have enough money that... Wow, this looked a lot like the game that Razor 1N played against String, and Why Did I Lose, right? Like the Shadowfangs, the Xenos... Huh. I think Xenos behind... Sorry, Shadowfangs behind Xenos should be pretty good, right? With mobile Animus. I think that's better than Colossus's, because you already kind of want to absorb on Zatron and Xeno. You don't want Colossus getting in the way. So I'm happy to double Dynamo here. I need to remember to try to use this 60-second time bank to figure out like what the opening is. But I don't know. I'll just save up the time and regret it later. Now, can you get a Gauss Fab? That seems pretty greedy. And I'd rather save the green for other things, I think. And just, like, get into Shadowfang sooner in that way. So Xeno plus Fang every turn is only 14 bucks, right? 13 bucks. So you don't actually need that big an economy to support something like that. But you do need to like do something while you buy all that tech, because it's a lot. 2 Blast Forges, Animus, Mobile Animus is 20 bucks. What is this single Blast Forge, by the way? Are we getting a Tesla coil or a splitter or what? Next turn, I can Xeno, Animus, Mobile Animus, and then just begin the Shadowfanging, I guess. I like that idea quite a bit. I could have just gotten 1 Blast Forge to let me get a little bit more, like get a splitter or something and drone more. Oh, he's floating the blue. Interesting. I guess I can afford this. I think another drone is right here, as opposed to like engineers or something. He's not threatening any real attack anytime soon. Although, probably coming up about next turn, I'll want an engineer or two. He doesn't have any absorber though, and he's like, when is he going to get time to build another blast forge? I mean, he has the cauterizer, obviously, but he doesn't have a Xeno, is what I meant. And without a second blast forge, it's hard to see how he'll ever get one. Well, obviously, without a second blast forge, it's illegal, but how is he going to get a second blast forge? Right. I like my spot. I would like it even more if I could somehow get a Zatron someday. But I would have to skip buying Xenos for a while to do that. Well, or just wait many, many turns, right? We're accumulating green at a rate of 1 per turn. I guess I could have not clicked that Dynamo a while ago, not built a drone, and at this point I would now have enough green for a Zatron. But I'd have to, like, not build the Xeno Guardian. I don't know, that's probably good. But it has so many fewer drones. The drone that I built a while ago has had a lot of time to compound. So this is probably right. I think I can get away with just 1 engineer, right? Probably should be 2. No, he's not actually attacking with his cauterizer, even though he can. Which means that I really will have all these NGs, which means I'll be perfectly granular. So I'll just take this. Okay, Zatron's a big, big unit. That, like, I guess, is his big absorber. So isn't he now losing the ability to attack with cauterizer? Seven attack, 3, 4. Yeah, so he's losing the ability to attack with cauterizer and is just attacking for 4. So this keeps everything in the front line. Okay. Next turn I can probably skip the Xeno, buy Zatron. Let's double check that actually. So with buying Zatron, I can buy Shadowfang and I just float all the blue. I think that's well worth the investment. This Zatron will produce way more health in the long term than another Xeno Guardian will. I could have actually cut both of these guys. No, I wouldn't be able to, like, do anything productive with my blue, so. I love the luxury of having these Xeno Guardians to, like, if I ever need to, I can just sack one of them. It's no big deal. Right? I have plenty of defensive tempo that I can spend for whatever it is that I think I need. In this case, you know, I might be losing a Xeno here, although I guess I'm not. I just take NG, lose 3 NGs onto Xeno. A little bit sad, but he'll be attacking for, what, 8 or 9 next turn? I can just build a couple walls. maybe? Okay, cool. So, did this pan out about as I said it would? I don't remember if this is what I said my plan was. At some point, I definitely said Xenos and Shadowfangs, but I don't remember if I was thinking about, like... Yeah, I was talking about Colossus and decided that actually that's, like, really hard to do, because you want Xenos and Zatron to defend. I talked about Gauss Fab, but I said it was too greedy. I mentioned these things. Yeah, so this is about what I wanted to do, I think. Getting the Xeno Guardian down early helped a lot, I think, and recognizing also how many drones I need to do the thing I want every turn, which is these two, is actually relatively few. It's possible that this was a little too early, and that I should have just built an Animus to get out a couple Tarsiers first, and like then get the mobile Animus for Shadowfangs. Since like I sort of expected Shadowfang's attack to be wasted a bit against Wall or something. But actually, like, these two Xeno Guardians are already breaking the absorb barrier of Wall, and so Shadowfang is like completely doing something. So I think this was right. Clicking the Dynamo here, again, we talked about it during the game, I'm not so sure. It seems reasonable, like, you know, I bought this drone, and by the time I wanted the green for anything else, it was like turn 7. And having bought the drone on turn 5, I've gotten a lot of money out of that drone. So, I don't know. I didn't really need the Zatron either, because he wasn't attacking me for a very long time. I think he was just a little bit too slow to get there. What did he do wrong? So this is the normal player 1 Dynamo opening, of course. Sure. I think this might be a little too greedy, actually, looking at it again. Is like, do you really want another Dynamo so badly that you don't get out the Xeno Guardian very quickly? And like, he bought this Blast Forge but didn't do anything with it because you're actually on pretty few drones once you've cut here. And then this, oh my word, this Dynamo was definitely too much. Like, I guess if you're gonna do this, you're building a splitter, which wouldn't be the end of the world. At least it's a defender, right? The Animus instead seems pretty silly to me. Okay, well, enough of that, I guess. Let's move on to the next game. Oh, and a new ticket, right? Having some numbers? 33696. Your lucky numbers today. Cool. And we got, what, 5 rating points? Okay. So, hey, that's Trump again. Maybe I won't lose to him again. That would be real nice. This is kind of complicated, isn't it? I don't think you want mobile jeez. I don't think you want arms race. Although it seems like the kind of unit Trump would go for. I think I'm happy to be player 2. It seems like a sort of Fastimus set into Bloodphage. And because of Auric Impulse, we can get a Bloodphage on turn 3 as well as a Tarsier, which is pretty good. We'll probably get Smorkases at some point, but right now I'm... Well, will we? Probably not with Bloodphage available to spend the red, right? Yeah, this is Tarsier plus Bloodphage. I never know about actually buying Auric Impulse into Bloodphage, because it's like, you're selling a drone to buy an attacker that's sort of a drone. But it's also like, it can convert red into into money for you, which is convenient when you've cut drones. You don't have much money to work with, right? I would like to get blue at some stage this game. So what are we doing? Just Tarsier, Rhino, drone? Seems about right. Actually, well, not drone. Auric Impulse, of course, right? Sort of strictly better here. And then I can, if I want, sell that drone back for a Blast Force next turn. I'll be a bit over-teched, but that's what Blood Phage is for, right? It's gonna be a pretty spiky economy graph in the post-game analysis, isn't it? I think he should get a Smorkas here. Okay, well, I guess if you're clicking the Rhino, you might need another Rhino instead. But you don't really want to defend with it either. Okay, he's in a sort of a tough spot, I guess. Well, no, you should cut this for a Smorkas, right? You're floating the red. It's easily worth spending $1 to attack me next turn instead of the turn after. Right? It's basically a Gauss charge for $1 since you were wasting the red anyway. And it's more than that because it threatens to attack for even more. Smorkas? Seems kind of greedy. Compared to like Blood Phage, Tarsier, Engie? Or Phage Click, I should say. I think I will, actually, because the Rhino's going to be not... The Rhino's going to be defending next turn, so I don't super need this Engie. He's probably attacking for, like, a round 4 next turn. It might be 3, but this applies so much extra pressure to him, doesn't it? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He has to find 7 defense when he has just 4. He can build a wall, but that's not absorbing. He has to come up with more. Just sort of like holding a drone or sacking a Rhino on defense. I think this pressure is useful. Especially if we can bully him into not clicking the Rhino. That would be pretty good. Right, but imagine if this Tarsier were attacking me. It would be a different story. I wouldn't have this option. Which it would be doing if he had built a Smorkas instead. It would be more than attacking me, in fact. It would be attacking me for 1 and threatening to attack for 2, of course. Okay, so he's going to be attacked for 3 again, which means that, like, the Engineer would have been pretty useful. But I can hold the drone. It's not the end of the world. The next turn, it looks like an attack for 4, so this Engie's not actually doing much. Is he really going to build prompt, like fast attack and then attack me with it? He could with a Smorkas. I think the Engie's okay. Means I won't have to keep holding drone. But if he attacks for 4, I'm just losing a Rhino. So this is really only useful if he's attacking for 5? He'll threaten 5, so I guess I'll want this. No, but against that I'm building a wall, right? So we could try something a bit greedier, try to get a Tarsier. That just seems like too much. I think I'm already, like, well ahead. I don't need to mess around with anything super greedy. This Tarsier is so greedy, and he keeps making the Smorkas mistake of floating red and buying Tarsier instead of Smorkas. It would be putting him under a lot more pressure. Although I think I could still handle it just fine. If, Oh, I almost... Well, I'm not making that same mistake, because I have 5 in a red, but I only have 4 if I want 2 red, right? So... I guess I'm doing this. I could build wall Smorkas instead, I guess. Is that better? No. It's kind of cool, actually, to see Trump, like, not using up all of his time bank. I watched some of his earliest Prismata streams, and he was, like, constantly struggling to play on time at all. Going, you know, if you ever got to, like, turn 13, he had 0 time bank every time, for sure. Which, of course, that happens to a lot of new players. But it's good to see that he's getting the hang of things a bit more. Resign? Resign? I got my emotes ready. Nice. Okay, so I think most of what I did this game I liked quite a bit. I'm glad that I did that, what was that? What did I call that video? Impulse control, right? The video where I analyzed how Auric Impulse helps you rush out Amparilla or rush out Odin, because it made me like, it cemented in my mind a thing which in principle I already knew, i.e. that in Fastimus you should get an Auric Impulse and not a drone, just like always. And I'm sure there have been sets where I've opened Fastimus with a drone instead of Auric Impulse and not realized what I was costing myself. Here, you know, the cost is like minor. If you open with drone instead though, like, I mean, watch what happens, right? I always feel like Bloodphage is a bit awkward for player 2 because you really want to buy it, but if you buy it first, you're floating red. And if you, like, try to delay it, you have to either cut a drone to get it on turn 4, or build the drone, and then you're, like, not buying it for a really long time. And by that time, you might, like, have so much money allocated to defense that you can't spend 8 on a Bloodphage. Whereas getting it earlier allows you to be a lot more flexible with your tech. Auric Impulse fixes this problem very well. It lets you buy a drone, and then sell it back to buy, like, a Tarsier packaged with a drone, right? In a way, Bloodphage is a fast Tarsier, i.e. costing, like, attacking right away, which is worth about 5 and a red, packaged up with a drone. And so in that sense, it's not really that valuable to, like, buy a drone and then sell a drone so that you can get a Bloodphage. But it's better than that because it lets you fix your over-teching problems If you want to like transition into blue, it's easy to just start spending 1 red instead of 2 with Blood Phage. And so that's why the Auric Impulse into Blood Phage is better than just like drones into Tarsiers. Also, it's like not just a Tarsier, it's a fast Tarsier, which you don't usually have access to. You don't want to spend like 5 red on a Smorkus. But if you could spend just 5 red on a Smorkus, which is sort of what you're doing with Auric Impulse into Blood Phage, that's pretty good. And of course, it's not really a Smorkus. You can't click it, you know, it does something different when you click it. But it, you know, it's sort of like, the point is, as I have discussed in previous videos, Auric Impulse here is like strictly better than Drone, and in a Blood Phage game, it's pretty easy what to do next. It lets you threaten to attack your opponent immediately, which means they're on the back foot, defending with Rhino and so on. I got a Rhino. I might have considered not getting one here because he doesn't really want to click this Rhino, right? And so like building this to defend, but I can just like keep clicking Rhino to attack him. It's fine, right? It's a fast Tarsier for 5 and a red, except it like can only attack twice, so it's like really a lot worse. But it's available to defend eventually, right? You know, Rhino's okay. It's usually not a great unit, but you know, here to defend against threat and get a little bit of attack in is pretty useful. And did I get another Auric Impulse already? What happened? How did I? Yeah. Right, and then I didn't look at this turn, actually. Here's the first turn after buying this, and it's like, well, you want a Tarsier, you want a Rhino, and look at that. $3. Again, Auric Impulse better than Drone, and it conveniently opens the door into Blast Forge. Which would be too much tech for 9 drones, well, 10. But, because of Blood Phage, you can sort of like, instead of having 10 income and 3 tech to spend, you can have 11 income and 2 tech to spend, which is quite comfortable. Although I guess on this turn I did spend I spent the 3 tech to get Smorkus instead. I wanted to put a bit more pressure on. So, okay, you know, and at this point it was sort of like over. I don't know about this turn, but I decided this was the more conservative line and that I'm so far ahead I can play conservatively. Alright, cool. Well, I'm glad I'm not, like, only losing to the big streamers, right? My 2 losses against Life Coach and then my loss against Trump in my first game against him, kind of bummers. Wow, tier 8. You don't often see tier 8 in the top live games. It's about the lowest. Like I don't know if I've ever seen a tier 7. Tier 8s you see occasionally. I didn't realize Sublimation was tier what, 9? Yeah. I thought he was master tier. Maybe I'm confusing him with some other name that sounds similar, like getting him mixed up in my head with Defenestration, even though I know they're different players. What is going on in this set? Wait, why did we hold back a splitter? Oh, I guess we killed a wild drone last turn probably, and so it didn't matter to attack? Yeah, okay, fine. I gotta say, I favor the guy who has an Ebb Turbine and a bunch of attackers over the guy who, like, doesn't have those things. Ludicatapro? Ludicatapro? Who knows? Hellhound Fang is like pretty cool if you have $13, but then you have to have like BAA, which is pretty substantial. Corpus is like another, like, but what exactly do you do with your Corpus or your Corpus clicks? I think obviously Arms Race and Gauss Fabbert is out of the question. Hellhound's too fast. The question is whether you can get Shadowfang ever, or if it's just going to be like Tarsiers, Hellhounds, and Corpuses. I guess the idea is you're going to go for Tarsiers, Hellhounds, and Corpuses, and then if your opponent gives you a chance, you'll like throw in a Shadowfang, basically, to seal the deal. So how am I... I think this is one of those things where you get like double drone, Blast Forge Animus, and that leaves you with 10 drones to build like Hound Tarsier. Player 2 is probably going like turn 2 Animus, but he won't have blue for quite a while in that line. You could maybe buy a Corpus as a way to spend all your red while still letting you get some blue, maybe? I don't know. Yeah, I think Blast Forge Animus is right. It leaves me on just 10 drones, which is like well below what you need for Fangs, if you're also getting Hellhounds. So I could delay things a bit longer, but I think if I do, I'll just be way too susceptible to the player 2 Fastimus thing. Oh wait, you can go BAD? I forgot. No, you can't. Right. For some reason, I briefly thought Animus cost only 4, which is definitely not the case. Okay, so we're basically just only ever buying these 2 units here. Yeah, I think it probably is worth floating a red to get up to Blast Forge. Hellhounds are just too good. But it's comfortable for me to build a wall against this? Well, a little. Oh, I see. I was thinking he'd build a Hellhound here. I don't think the wall is right. Now I can build wall Tarsier next turn, which feels very good to me. And that's why I'm not buying another drone. What is going on over here? We don't want attackers. We're just buying only defense for some reason, huh? If you ever click the Corpus, you're just buying a single Hellhound as your attacker? Aren't you going to be like miles behind? Fangs! Okay, alright, sure, yes. I forgot all about those because I realized I wasn't getting them. Are you going to be able to get them though? Maybe. But not if you spend your blue... Well, Fang Hound, I guess. I think I just need to respond by continuing to attack as much as I can, though. And I think that that's going to be sufficient. I think it's pretty ambitious to have this much tech with only 12, 13 drones. I can even continue to attack here? This seems extremely greedy. Yeah, the Tarsier's wrong. It should be a Rhino, right? Or I should do something involving wall. But I don't think that's the case. I think we need to start, like, pressuring more. And Rhino does that. Plus, it'll probably soon be time to defend myself. And I'll appreciate having a Rhino when that time comes. The Tarsier is just too slow. Okay. I always like, I'm tempted to emote just to BM people, and I know that's not the kind of person I want to be, and so I don't do it, but I do like opening the emotes menu and hovering over it when it's clearly lost. Okay, so what happened in this game? I think this is the right player 2 opening. I often struggle with this in Hellhound sets. Is like, if you get that early Animus, when are you ever getting your blue? And if you don't get your blue, like, aren't you just losing to the guy who has Hellhounds? So it feels like... Is Hellhound a player 1 favored unit? Even though it's kind of red rushy? I don't know. I think there must be some good Hellhound opening that I just don't know about for player 2. I don't think floating a red to buy a Blast Forge is that opening. I think you just have to be content with building drones for a while, or Tarsiers for a while. Obviously, like, the wall, not a good idea. It's only absorbing 1 damage, and you might as well just build a Hellhound, right? The Hellhound absorbs 1 damage by giving you an Engineer. And it attacks me forever. Like, way, way better than building a wall and floating. And then you can get a wall later, of course. Corpus also seems weird. I don't know. I'm not too, like... Clearly my opponent was struggling a lot. But, like, what was the deal with me? 10 drones seemed like plenty. It's a bit hard sometimes to spend all the tech. Once the game gets too sharp for additional Hellhounds to be good, you're sort of over-teched. But I hoped that Corpus would alleviate that problem by giving me a red defender that costs relatively low money per red. I would do the same basic approach even without Corpus in the set, but the presence of Corpus makes it seem stronger to me. And we just never really had a chance to get Fangs. It's you would have to not build a turn 3 Blast Forge Animus to ever get Fangs here, I think. And that was 2 games, but they were both pretty short. Well, actually, that's not true. Trump's game took a while, I guess, huh? Alright, well, we'll end the episode here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.